Have you ever tried to build an automation connecting to a platform that doesn't have integration with Zapier or Make, for example? The best way to do that is using API documentation. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can call any API endpoint using make.com so you can integrate with any platform or system that you are using. Let's go. Okay, so I'm using Slack API docs as an example here, but you can see that usually any kind of API documentation has kind of the same structure. Okay, so you have the URL that you need to use to call this endpoint. You have, let's say that the method that you're using, so it can be get, it can be post, it can be put, it can be delete. But basically the ones that you're gonna use the most are either get or post. Get is to, as it says, is to get a data, to just read a data. And post is to make any changes. So you're doing an action through the API. Okay, so like in this case, this endpoint is to send an invitation to a Slack Connect channel. I've recorded a video based on how you can invite external users to any Slack channel. You can check it out here. But anyways, like this video is more to explain you the structure of this API call and how you can do it inside make.com. So this is going to be an action. So you are inviting an external user to your Slack Connect channel. So you have the URL, you have the method, you have the scope. This is specifically, of course, for this case, because Slack uses their bots to do that. So you need to create a bot. And again, on this video that I mentioned, I explain you how you can create your own bot. The content type, so it's basically a raw JSON that you can use. And then here, these are the required fields, arguments that you need to use on your API call. Otherwise, you're gonna get an error. Okay, so these are the required ones for this endpoint. So for this endpoint, you need to have the token. Of course, again, this is the bot token that you need to use to make sure that you're going to be authorized to do this API call. And then the field that is required is the channel ID. So of course, this is an endpoint to send an invitation to one specific Slack channel. So that's why it's required that you add the Slack channel ID that you're going to use to invite that external user. Okay. You also have other options here. So you can add an email. So the email of the user that you are inviting, limits. So if you are kind of inviting a limited member to this Slack channel, and also if you have any kind of Slack user ID to identify that user. But again, these are all optional arguments. So even if you don't add any of those fields to your API call, it will run, okay, without any error. Okay, so let's go to make now. So here I have the HTTP. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna search for HTTP, and then you're gonna select make a request. Okay, here the URL is this one here. So you're gonna get this URL here, I'm gonna copy it, you're gonna paste it, okay? Here is the method. Again, we are talking about the post method here. So we're gonna select post. On the header, we need to make sure that we are authenticated. So you need to send the authentication parameter here for this API call here. Okay, so you come here, authorization. And of course, this is specifically to Slack. Each API documentation will have its own authentication method. Okay, so this is specifically to Slack, and here is like the token, right? So then you can add the token here. This is just for the authorization. Okay, on the body type, you're going to select raw, and the content type, you're going to select JSON, because as you can see it, you should select the application JSON here. You can select this URL encoded option here just to add the key and the value. But just for this example, I'm going to select raw because other API documentations, they require for you to pass a raw JSON structure here. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to add these fields here, the required fields. So we already have the token. The token is here on the header. And now we're gonna add the channel that it is a required field, but we are also gonna add an email because we are inviting an external user to join the channel, right? So we're gonna need to add channel and emails here. So then I'm gonna move it back here. We're gonna add channel, and this is an ID, okay? And then we need to add emails. In this case, it's just one email, but you could add more than one email here. So this is like basically the structure of this API call. Of course, you could add other fields here. So let's say that you want to add, I don't know, like external limited is a Boolean, so it's either true or false. You can add user ID, but for this example, just adding channel, which is the channel ID, and then emails, adding the external user email that you want to invite to this Slack channel. Okay, so hopefully by now you are able to call any API endpoint for your tools and platforms. So you're gonna see that you're gonna be able to integrate with many other platforms. You're gonna be able to build much more automations now that you don't need to have the platform connected to any automation tool necessarily. And again, if you need help to do this process or to automate any other task or processes that you have running on your company, just click on the link down below so we can get on a call and I can show you the best way to do that. Thank you.